What is up, traders? What's up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. I found a stock that I think is actually better than NVDA. And when I say better, we're talking about performance. And I'm actually going to show it to you guys in today's video. It's going to be a great one. And we're also going to go over some other names that you really need to keep on your radar that are super hot right now and have a lot of momentum. And we'll see if that momentum can keep up. Now, you may be thinking that I'm talking about AI stocks, right? If you look at the BOTS ETF, which is the artificial intelligence ETF, you can see it breaking out, making new highs yet again today. All right. It's not SMCI. Okay. I know SMCI has everyone's attention. Okay. The stock was literally not even $100 back in the October 2022 lows and has already hit $1,000 this year. Okay, we can see NVIDIA's massive performance. I mean, everybody knows the AI story, but what we're going to talk about today is ANF. Now, this is actually Abercrombie and Fitch. Now, I didn't even realize that people still shop there, if I'm being honest, but this stock has rallied over 800% from its lows in October 2022. And if you take a look at its performance relative to NVIDIA, it has outperformed NVIDIA. Okay. And this is just crazy, guys. So I had to dive deeper, right? I mean, I'm not the type of person who really wants to chase a stock that's already up massively and seems like it's going up in a straight line, but I've got to dig deeper. I've got to do a little bit of research. And that's what I've been doing over the past couple weeks. And if you take a look at the retail ETF, okay, XRT, beautiful J-hook pattern here, nice multi-year base, all right? And we're breaking out above $74, which was a key level. There's a lot of potential in this area now, okay? If you take a look at retail versus small caps, they look like they're ready to perform, basically break out on a relative basis. And if you take a look at retail versus the S&P 500, it also looks like it's trying to break out on a relative basis, right? TJ Maxx is another retail stock just absolutely going parabolic. You can see this stock was trading down here in the 50s and is already up at $100. We have Nike, okay? Nike had a really great setup that we posted in the Discord. Once we broke this key trend line here on some bad earnings, we were looking for it to come back down to this key zone for the possible inverse head and shoulder setup. And we've started to bounce off of that key zone. So it's looking great. You've got DKS. This is Dick's Sporting Goods. Also looking really, really strong, guys. Look at these vertical lines, okay? Lots of strength, lots of momentum here behind these names. We've got UA is another one, LVMHF, all right? And then we've got Macy's here as well, which I played earnings on. Had a very nice move in the early morning, was up about 5%, was able to get out of that for a quick little earnings play. So we're going to break down all of that in today's video. As always, though, the content provided on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. So be sure to read through the disclaimer. And if you're new to the channel, I actually started a completely free newsletter for you guys called Investment Intelligence, right? Giving out free valuable finance content, free trading content, and I try to sprinkle in 1 to 2 free trade ideas a week in there. These are what the trade ideas will look like, highlighting the conditions on the chart. And then we actually show you guys the chart itself so that you can kind of break down, okay, hey, this is what they're looking for, right? And give you guys some nice verbiage to explain it as well, just in case you can't, visualize what is there on the chart. And you guys can understand some of the high quality setups that we're looking for. And if you go and take a look at the website, because there's a website associated with it, you guys can go back and read through some of the previous newsletters and check out how some of those trade ideas did, after the newsletters was published. And many of them have worked out very well. And it's because I try to choose quality over quantity. So I'm not worried about spamming you guys every single day with a million different trade ideas, just trying to brag about 1 or 2 that work, but rather focus on high quality setups and explain what those high quality setups are, so that way you guys can learn how to identify your own high quality setups. If you want access to all of the different trade ideas and analysis, you can actually join the Discord. Okay, there is an investment intelligence Discord. There's a link in the description for you guys to join now. You can see some of the different plays, profits that we're getting over the past month throughout February. It's been a really, really good month. And it's just been great really ever since the Discord started, just putting out high quality plays, good analysis, good trade ideas, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's only $10 a month, so it's really a bargain for the value that you guys get. Now, as I mentioned, we were talking about the AI ETF bots. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, okay? AI still looks really strong, right? There's nothing, weak about this trend here or about this stock. You can see it's actually breaking out from a key zone over here, completely gapped up over it after the NVIDIA earnings, and it's pushing higher, right? And I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised if this comes up to the 32, 32.50 area. Ultimately, that is going to be the next target. Now, that's not going to happen anytime soon. It's going to take a little bit of time to develop and to get there. But still, I mean, the AI trend has been parabolic, guys. It's been a very parabolic move in that sector. We talked about SMCI. SMCI, has started to come down and fill a little bit of this gap here, but it's still really holding up, right? A lot of people, as soon as this trend line here broke, right? If we were to just draw a little imaginary trend line right here, okay, as soon as this broke, I know tons and tons of people were waiting and waiting to just massively short this thing and just, short it to the ground. But what happened is you can see that a little bit of a false breakdown there, right? And we came right back up, and it's really just been consolidating. It's out of that price discovery zone right now, and it's in a little bit of consolidation, trying to figure out, okay, hey, are we actually going to go higher? Are we actually going to go lower? This stock is just absolutely insane, honestly. It became the biggest weight in the IWM and the small cap ETF in a very quick amount of time. And everyone knows the story of NVIDIA. Okay, the stock that rules all stocks. NVIDIA has pretty much undoubtedly become the most important stock in the stock market. Okay, it's overtaken Google, it's overtaken Microsoft. I'm sorry, not Microsoft, but Amazon, and you just have Google and Apple ahead of NVIDIA, right? Man, I keep mixing up my words. You just have Apple and Microsoft as far as the largest companies in the stock market right now. In the S&P 500, NVIDIA has moved all the way up to number three. And this stock is so volatile, it really controls a lot of the sentiment of the market. If Nvidia is having a really, really rough day, if it's down 5% or if it's up 5%, a lot of times the stock market generally is going to be kind of following that performance, being, how much of an impact that the AI movement has had on the market, how much market cap that Nvidia has now. It does hold a lot of weight in the market. But as I mentioned, Abercrombie and Fitch has really just been a sleeper. And one of the big things that everyone is telling you is that it's only been 7 stocks or it's only been 10 stocks holding the market up, keeping the market rallying, and continuing to push the market higher. That is a completely false narrative. Okay. I mean, if you look at Tesla, Tesla's not doing anything for the Magnificent Seven. All right. Google's not looking great. Apple's not looking great. A lot of these names aren't looking great. There are other sectors. There are plenty of other stocks in the market rallying, guys. And so if you're someone who doesn't want to chase and you think that the AI wave is a bubble, there's other names out there. Okay. And I've got some more videos that I'm dropping very soon on some other sectors. This video is highlighting retail XRT, obviously. But look at this performance, guys. I mean, it's literally outperformed NVIDIA. And as I mentioned, when you take a look at the sector, I mean, this is a huge multi-year base right here. And there's a nice J hook pattern, okay, which, I'm not going to break down all of these patterns. It's not going to be a candlestick pattern tutorial video, but this is a strong pattern and this has a very high success rate. Okay, my XRT call options are looking great right now. We're able to break above that zone. And it looks like it has some more room to go. All right. It may not be a straight line up, maybe a little bit choppy, but at this rate, we've got profits and we've got stop losses on. And so at the end of the day, if the trade reverses on us, at least we can get stopped out with some profit. And when you talk about a relative basis, okay. So, lots of times you hear people, analysts, talk about relative strength, right? And people always assume that that means the RSI, okay, the relative strength index. What they mean is, how is it performing on a relative basis, okay? Now, retail stocks are not going to be the largest cap stocks out there, okay? They're not going to be mega cap tech stocks trading at trillion-dollar valuations. So when you compare them to small caps, okay, the IWM, the small cap ETF, you can see here that, again, it looks like we've got a little bit of a multi-year base right now. And really, ever since the summer of last year, retail stocks, XRT, has been outperforming IWM. Okay, this means that it's been strong. Okay, it's been a leader in the small caps, the retail sector has, right? And if you look at it compared to the S&P 500, okay, it's been in a very long downtrend, right? But here, yet again, it looks like we're putting in a little bit of a base here, and we're trying to potentially break out of this multi-year downtrend. Now, am I someone who's going to be confident in saying that, retail stocks are going to outperform the S&P 500 and get all the way back up to here, over the next year? No, right? I don't think retail stocks are going to outperform the entire market for an entire year or anything like that. But when we're looking for trade ideas, we're seeing, hey, there is some relative strength, relative to the small caps, right? And if we look at it relative to the S&P 500, retail XRT had a really, really good day today. It's had a really great week so far, and the S&P 500 hasn't. All right. And so we're just looking to kind of back up our thesis and say, hey, well, is there relative strength in the sector, or is it just a fluke, right? Is this something that doesn't really make a lot of sense and just looks like it's a fluke? Well, we're seeing lots of confluence here that, hey, we're getting relative strength. And maybe, if we can break out past this level here and see this continue to push up higher, maybe that's going to be a good thing for the XRT ETF for some of these names that we're going to go through, right? So we're going to continue to highlight some more. TJ Maxx, TJX is another one. This one really, guys, I was very close to shorting this one. But, I said, hey, I don't want to short this much strength. Okay, we came up, we danced around the bullish price targets right here. We're breaking out again. We just broke out over basically 100, above 100. I think this one has got some room to go, potentially up to 105 is going to be your next target here for TJ Maxx. Nike, we talked about Nike, okay? And, all of these plays have been posted in the Discord too before these breakouts, right? So, as I mentioned before, you guys can join the Discord, okay? It's $10 a month. You'll get all this different analysis, before it's out on YouTube, and you'll be able to see some of these plays and you can plan ahead, right? Like Nike was a really great example of, when it's up here at these levels, 110, 105, 111, we're saying, hey, we're going to look for it to come down to this 99, to 104 area. And that's where you can really manage your risk with a good risk to reward setup with entering some longs, targeting the gap fill with the stop loss shortly below. And you can see Nike's back up here now at $105 after coming down below 100. This is a daily time frame right here. So you can see that huge earnings gap down, basically just warning people, hey, don't try and buy here just because it's massively down. Be patient, wait for it to come down to a key zone, that's tested over here. It's tested over here. It's tested over here. And then we broke through this area. Okay. But that doesn't mean that this area isn't still an area of interest, right? It showed us in the past many times it was an area of interest until it finally broke and we came back down to this zone again. And what do you know? We're starting to bounce already. So we're going to see if Nike can have some follow through. This is a huge, massive gap up here, all the way back up to 120. That would be a really parabolic move. I wouldn't say parabolic, but really impressive move, rather, if we can come down from, below 100 all the way back up to the 120s. We'll have to see how this one plays out. DKS is going to be Dick's Sporting Goods. This one just absolutely parabolic here. This is all, most of these are weekly time frames. If we were to zoom down to a daily time frame, you could see a J hook pattern here a little bit more, right? With your J kind of looking like this. All right, let me draw it in for you guys so you guys can see. All right, that's kind of, your J right there, right? That's the whole J hook pattern, right? And this one, again, looking really, really great. Broke out above prior highs of 174.5. All right, and it's off to the races heading up to 185 right now. We've got another one here, UA. This is Under Armour. And so if you're not someone who doesn't want to chase stocks at highs, right? Nike is one that's not really up at highs. You've got TJ Maxx right here up at highs. You've got names that are up at highs, and then you've got things like the XRT ETF. Okay. And you've got things like Nike, you've got things like UA, like Under Armour, right? So if you're someone who, maybe you want to have a little bit of some of the top performers, and then maybe you want to have a little bit of some of the laggards, right? Oftentimes they call that a little bit of a barbell strategy. UA is one of those, right? Now it appears like it's trying to put in a bottom. It hasn't been performing as well as some of the others when it comes to the retail sector, but this could be a nice inverse head and shoulders setting up here. We're closing right on the trend line here so far today, looking to see if we can break out, right? And if we can break out, there's this really big fair value gap up here, which is also right around the target of $12. So trading from where it's at right now, about 850. Okay, that's almost about a 50% move, potentially that you could see in something like Under Armour. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm in Under Armour right now. It's doing pretty well for me already. We're just going to see if we can get some follow through on this breakout. But this is what I mean is you come in, you say, wow, what are some of these other names that are doing really well, and then do some intermarket analysis. You say, well, what sector is this, right? Does the sector look good as a whole? Does the sector look good on a relative basis to some other areas? And then you just kind of dive through the names, right? You look through the names, you say, hey, well, the sector is high. If the sector is going to continue being high, what has been some of the leaders? What have been some of the laggards? And are there any setups that I can potentially take in some of the leaders or the laggards? And that's all we're doing basically in today's video. LVMH HF. This is basically like, your high quality brands, right? You're thinking Louis Vuitton. You're thinking Hennessy, all right, Moet, different things like that. This one looking great. I mean, look at this massive move, guys. We went from 700 to 923, almost in pretty much a straight line in about a month or two. Really, really impressive move right there. Breaking out above that 884 level. Above 884, this thing does have the potential to head back up to 975 to 1,000 to retest some previous highs there. Macy's, we talked about Macy's. They had earnings today. They beat earnings expectations. The stock didn't close amazingly today. It still closed under 20, but you guys can see that wick right there. We did have a very strong push up, almost to $21. I was able to get out, above 2060 on Macy's, and I had the $20 call options expiring later in March. So that was a nice little earnings play there. Nothing crazy, nothing spectacular. But I figured, hey, I'm in the retail section. There's lots of retail earnings coming up. Okay, Macy's is kicking it off. We're gonna have more retail sector earnings, and it's gonna be a big catalyst, right? If a lot of these stocks can beat expectations, then that's gonna be a little bit more of a fundamental story that could help fuel some of the technical analysis that we're seeing. Now, if a lot of these retail stocks really crap the bed, right, then maybe a lot of these technicals get thrown out the window, right? Or maybe we see a lot of checkbacks. Okay, there's a lot of stocks that are breaking out. Maybe if some of these retail stocks don't have good earnings, maybe we see some checkbacks, right? In LVMHF, maybe we check back to that 880 area, in Dick's Sporting Goods, hey, maybe we check back to the 145, 150 areas here. There is some room for pullbacks in some of these names, but there's also been lots of strength. And so we're going to see if that can continue until otherwise. Depending on your entries and things like that, there's really good ways to manage risk. And all you want to be doing is looking for strength, guys, relative strength, identifying, where there is relative strength in the market. And you can have your own narrative out there, right? You don't have to let everyone tell you that, hey, there's only 7 stocks rallying. I just showed you guys a bunch of names that have all been rallying, that have had very significant pushes, even meanwhile, while the Magnificent Seven haven't been performing as well. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you want access to all the different analysis, all the different trade ideas, as well as custom indicators, being able to see gamma levels, dark pool levels, and many other valuable resources, join the Discord. The link is in the description down below. All right. And you guys can also sign up for the newsletter. Okay. That's completely free. The Discord is about $10 a month. Which again, both of them, for what you get, I think you guys will be really happy with the value that you get. And if you ever want to do a coaching session, you can come to my Ko-Fi page. You just click on the commissions tab, and in there you can book a 30-minute or 1-hour session. All of the Discord members, they get 20% off all of the coaching sessions. We can talk about many different things: day trading dynamics, swing trading strategies, interactive Q&A. All right, maybe you want to know a little bit about options, some different type of option strategies, or how you can hedge your portfolio using options. You can really do a lot with options, and most people just have a really bad misunderstanding of them. I've even been trading futures now. So, if you guys are interested in futures and some of the strategies that I use for futures, feel free to hit me up. Okay, you can use that Ko-Fi page. That's where you can book all of them. You can also request specific videos. Okay, you can do that as well on the Ko-Fi page under the commissions tab. And there's also this little buy a coffee button, basically a way to leave a tip or donation for all the free valuable content that I put out there, such as this video and the newsletter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.